All right, as you guys can see, Foxbody's out. Gonna take it on the first test drive. All right, back in the Mustang. Got the exhaust put on, the computer swapped out, which I'll get into in a minute, and then got the alignment done. So I wasn't able to get the subframe connectors like I wanted to in. The frame is twisted to the point where it would have cost too much money, or I wouldn't say too much money. It was, the subframe connectors wouldn't have gone on the way I wanted them to. They would have had to make some custom stuff, and which, whatever. If I really want to put them on, I'll probably just go to a frame shop, have them straighten the frame out, and then put them on. But anyway, it's running, it's driving. We're gonna start it up here. They had to mess with the OBD2 to get the computer working, so the dash probably isn't gonna work, but fires right up. Got RPM, fuel, all that jazz, and you can hear it. It's very, or much quieter, I should say, than what it was before with open headers. But yeah, so the computer, this is the original computer, or not, this is the control pack computer, and it didn't work for whatever reason when they tried to get into the computer to turn off the IMRC, because I deleted that. It just wouldn't allow them to get in there. The file on it was corrupted or whatever, so I ended up bringing back the used computer from the 2020 Mustang. They plugged it in, they were able to get right into that computer, so that is actually what's in it now. They did contact Ford about this computer, and they said essentially that I can ship that one out to them. They can look at it and either reflash it or send me a new one. I just need to show proof of ownership. So I'll probably do that, and then yeah. So now we're gonna go on, I would say, the first official drive. Yes, I've driven this a little bit before, but this time around I'm actually gonna be able to get into it and experience it for the first time. I don't have any way of mounting you guys up, so luckily this is automatic and I can just drive it one-handed. You guys can hear that exhaust. It sounds pretty good. Oh yeah, this thing rips. My neighbors are gonna hate me, but that's okay. I can definitely hear some backing plate scraping, so I'll have to figure that out. There's a lot of rattles in the dash here. I don't know if you guys can hear that. My turn signals, I think, stopped working too, so I'll have to figure that out. Lights are working, so that's cool. Almost made it through this light. That's all right. I'm gonna put you guys down for now. I'm trying to focus on driving because it's actually pretty heavy traffic for now, so I'll see you guys back at home. I've driven this a couple times now, and well, hopefully you guys can hear me. But yeah, it runs pretty good. There's a lot of like squeaks and rattles coming out of the dash, which kind of sucks because it's not letting me hear the other noises that the car could potentially be making. But I'm definitely hearing, I think it's on both sides. It just kind of depends on I don't know if you guys can hear that. Oh shit, my brakes. are not working. Well, that's not cool. Power steering's working, brakes aren't. Well, that's not good. Maybe I should pull over and check on that. Yeah, I definitely don't have any brakes. Power brakes.
Interesting.
I checked the power steering fluid last night and it was topped off, so hopefully that's not an issue. Hopefully I don't think I am leaking any fluid, because then I wouldn't have power steering. But yeah. It's fast. And I do have the 273 gears in the back too, so I'll have to do some math or look it up online, but with the 10 speed and 273 gears in the back, I don't know what the actual ratio of that is. I don't even know if I would need to put any lower gears in the back, in the rear end, so I'll have to figure that out. But I mean, this thing does get up and it goes for sure. So flip you guys around here, see if you can get a good angle of the yeah, there's a lot of glare on there, but hopefully you guys will be able to see some. The gauge cluster, I don't have the speedometer working still. I still got to figure out how to, or I guess program it and then calibrate it afterwards. But everything else works. And it's pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie. The only thing I don't like is from where I sit, which I sit pretty far back because I'm tall. I have to lean the seat back so my head's not hitting the ceiling. So I have to lean forward to see the fuel, but I kind of sit at an angle so I can see the oil pressure at least. But fuel, not a huge deal because I got an actual gauge. I don't need to see the percentage, but there's a lot of vibration in the steering wheel too. So I don't know if that's just because of the suspension I have set up or what, but it's like vibration and I can feel a lot of the bumps. I've never had a car this lowered, and then also with coilovers and all that jazz. So I'm not 100% sure how it's supposed to feel. One thing you guys are probably noticing is the RPMs are kind of just hanging out a lot after I give it some gas. That's because the guy that essentially unlocked the computer that I'm using right now, he just put the transmission in sport mode all the time, which honestly I'm okay with that for now. I think eventually I'll probably either go with like 5-star tuning for the 10R80 or go to, because I still have another essentially gear in the shifter on the Foxbody and in the 10R80. So I was thinking of making that the sport mode and then the normal drive mode and drive. But not 100% sure how all that works. I just checked the power steering here. It's topped off, it's good. So I don't know 100% why the brakes aren't working, but can you guys hear that? I have a massive vacuum leak. So I'm gonna cap that off. That was the, well, maybe. There's that thing working there. That little switch for the fans. I think I need to turn that up. I think it's supposed to be 65. I'm gonna take it around the block again real quick. See if I can get those brakes back. Fluid's topped off. There's nothing leaking. These are the only hoses going to the power brakes, so nothing's leaking. Take it up and down the road here. Got the car back in the garage here, and well, first impressions of driving, it's awesome. It's quick. It's exactly what I wanted, but there are some issues, and I've already started making a list of what I need to fix. And well, it's not really that much stuff. The car's still completely drivable the way it is. I actually just used it. That last drive you guys saw was me actually using it as a car. I needed to go somewhere, so I took this and it worked just as I needed to, for the most part. The only thing prevented me from driving it again, I want to say prevented me because it can still drive just fine, is the brakes. For some reason, I feel like the power brakes are not working, and if they are, it is a very, very heavy pedal. So that's something I want to look into. I know for a fact there's no leaks, and I know the power steering pump is pumping because I have power steering. Now that kind of didn't make sense, but the power steering that I have also runs the brake booster, so it's a Hydroboost system. So that's why I was saying the power pump for the brake booster is working, if that makes sense. So that's one of the problems that I need to get fixed for sure. There's a couple other items. I made a little list here. Again, nothing that's really preventing me from driving. But the AC belt, that came undone. You guys can hopefully maybe kind of see it right there. That came off. I'm not 100% sure why. The only thing I can think of is it wasn't aligned properly. So I'll have to figure that out. I'll have to get a new stretch belt, but not a huge deal. I'll just cut it off for now. I'm not using the AC. The AC is not even hooked up right now, so not really worried about it. Power brakes, we went over that, but the other thing with the brakes is I think both sides of the brakes, the front brakes here, I think the dust shield is hitting it, so occasionally when I turn, it'll start scraping it, and then the dust shield will start scraping the rotor. So I'll have to pull those back off of the rotor so it's not close and touching it. I need to get some actual caps for the vacuum ports that I need blocked off. Turn signals, they stopped working for some reason. Door locks, same thing. Fuel pressure, I need to adjust that one more time. I can't remember, I keep forgetting. I think it's 65 PSI and it's sitting right at 60. So I need to bump that up just a little bit. It runs fine again, but I just wanted to get it perfect. And then finally, trans fluid and diff fluid. I just want to check those one more time, make sure everything is good. One thing with the trans is the shifter itself. It's got that classic Mustang, when you try to put it in gear, it gets stuck in park or it won't go into park. So I'm almost debating on whether just getting a aftermarket shifter or finding a reproduction one maybe. Not 100% sure. I'd really like to keep it looking stock because I think it looks good. But if I did get the aftermarket one, I could get rid of this switch, but for the transmission shift up and down. But I also kind of want to try to wire that into the cruise control switch over here because I think that would be pretty cool. But I don't know yet. Not 100% sure. That's why this stuff still all looks like this. I need to also button everything up under there. So yeah, there's still a list of things to do. Nothing that is preventing it necessarily from driving, but it's definitely stuff that'll make it a better driver once I do fix them. So I think right now I'm going to jack up the front end, get the front wheels off, and look at those front brakes. I got the car jacked up here, as you can see, but before we take those wheels off, I'm actually going to go under here and show you guys what all was done. So there's the X-pipe all welded in. And then to the exhaust, that is the stock exhaust from the original 5.0 that was in here. So that's pretty much all that was done under here as far as exhaust work goes. And then the alignment was done, and obviously it drives straight, so that's all good there. But yeah, let me get these wheels off real quick and then go from there. Well, yeah, you can already hear the dust shield on driver's side and passenger side are both touching, so we'll get these wheels off and then go from there. Alright, got this one adjusted already. It was just right in there. It was like right here it was hitting. So that's it's all bent up. Maybe I'll bend it a little bit more. Cool. Easy as that. Both sides brake shields are done. Yeah, not too bad. I went ahead and cut off the AC belt here. I'm not 100% sure why this AC belt shredded itself, but I think it may have been because I didn't have the belt lined up on the crankshaft pulley to the actual AC compressor. I may have had it misaligned, and then it just pulled itself off and then shredded itself. But that's easy enough of getting a new belt. The part number's on the belt, so just have to take off the serpentine belt and then throw on that stretch belt. I moved on to the interior here, trying to get these turn signal switches working, and kind of got them working, but not really. I did get the right turn signal working. I've got it flashing in the dash there. Got a rear flasher and the front flasher. But for some reason, the left side isn't working. The turn signals were all working before I dropped it off to the mechanic. Of course, this is what everybody says. Drop it off to the mechanic, then all this stuff doesn't work. Not too concerned about it because I got one working. But I don't know why the left one isn't working. I did a continuity test, which is pretty much when you have, I took the plug out back here, turned the switch to whichever direction I was testing. That is the power, this is the power wire. Then you have, I think it's left front, and then left rear or something, and then right front, and then right rear, something like that. When I did the continuity test, I knew what I was looking at, but for some reason, I have continuity when the left signal comes on, but there is no turn signal, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on. Maybe, I don't know, because the only place that switch gets power from is that orange wire, and it powers the left and right turn signals, front and rear. So there's no other, it wouldn't be a power issue, maybe a ground issue. I mean, the switch grounds itself. I'm pretty sure that's how that switch works. So you can get your continuity between the two, whatever you're trying to connect. So maybe it is the switch. I'm gonna say it's the switch for now and just end up getting a new one. It's kind of weird that it would just randomly go out, but maybe not, because there is some electrical stuff that I did. So maybe some way or another, the switch just ended up it just stopped working. I don't know. But anyway, door locks I still haven't messed with really. This is the power for the door locks. This is a circuit breaker. Power goes down to this wire and then goes to the locks. And it's still not working. That bottom wire there on the circuit breaker was loose. The nut holding the wire on, I should say, was loose. And I tightened it down, and it's still not working. So not super concerned about the door locks though, because I have a locking key, or the keys to lock the doors, I should say. And then what I'm going to go over now is the Hydroboost unit. Getting the Hydroboost unit bled so I can get power brakes. From what I saw, the research I did, essentially I'm going to turn the steering wheel with the car jacked up in the front, turn it 5 times each way, so 10 times total, and then pump the brakes after the 10 times that I turn the wheel. That is what I found, how to bleed the Hydroboost system. The other option is also just cracking lines. So I might, if that first bleed method doesn't work, then I'll just go ahead and crack the Hydroboost lines and then see if I can bleed it out that way. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna get this jacked back up and then bleed the Hydroboost. All want to do some sketchy stuff and not put jacks under the car. Oh yeah. Put this key in so I can turn the wheel. I think I'm also going to crack open, this shouldn't really matter that much, but I'm going to crack this open just because this thing does seal up pretty good. And there is, I don't know if you guys just heard that, but air did just escape. I don't know if that's just from pressure from the fluid expanding and contracting, or if there is air being released through the system and it's getting trapped into the reservoir. Not really sure. It's probably just pressure releasing and or expanding and contracting. But yeah, this is all it is. Turn the wheel left and right to lock. So I'll do this 10 times and then pump the brake up. I don't know, I think it said like 5 times or something, and then just repeat the process. So here we go. Well, I'm not 100% sure what happened, but when I was doing that, yeah, I just shot a bunch of fluid out. But you can see that there is a lot of bubbles in that fluid. So maybe there was some trapped air in there. But I don't know why it overflowed like that. I don't know, whatever. But the pedal did get pretty hard. I'm not 100% sure if that's an actual sign of the Hydroboost bleeding off air. I guess the best next thing I could do is start it up and then see if there is more assistance with the brakes. So I guess I'll do that right now. Take it on a test drive. Not sure if you guys actually saw that, but it definitely felt like there was more of a pedal. So maybe I did get a lot of that air out. I might have to do this a couple more times. Might need to add just a little bit of fluid, but I'm going to drive the car first, make sure that I actually am getting the pedal, that process is actually helping, and then I'll go from there. All right, flung you guys off the door there, so you didn't get to go on the test drive, but I definitely have a more of a pedal, I should say, but I'm still getting that power steering whiny noise. As you can see, the fluid is pretty frothy, so I'm gonna keep doing that back and forth with the what is it called? The steering wheel, going back and forth with it, and then hopefully I can get some more air out that way. But I definitely got more of a pedal, like I just said. So anyway, I'm gonna quit repeating myself and do what I'm actually going to say. So there we go. I have not gotten any more bubbles out of the power steering reservoir when turning the steering wheel 10 times, pumping the brake 5 times in between. So I'm gonna call that a win for now. I'm gonna close this all up, get the bug off me. And then I'm gonna drive this to work for the first time tomorrow. Everything else on the list is kind of minuscule. I'm not too worried about it. Well, actually I've got trans fluid and diff fluid on there. I guess I'm not really that concerned about that stuff either. I'll probably check that when I get back from work after I drive it home. But everything else I think is just fine. This is all I'm gonna do tonight. This is all I have time to do tonight. So I guess I'll see you guys after I get home from work tomorrow. I'm back from work. I just drove this thing to and from work, and during work, took it out for lunch, all that kind of stuff. And it drove great, honestly. It was a really good drive, except for on the way home. Towards the end of the drive, it smelled, there was a certain smell, I'm not 100% sure how to describe it. It almost smelled electrical, but it would come and go, and I'm like, it wasn't like, I know what electrical fire smells like, and it wasn't quite like that, but that's what it reminded me of. And I kind of thought maybe it was the clutches, the clutch packs in the transmission. And so when I got back here, I put the scan tool on and checked the trans temperature, and it was at 185 degrees. So it wasn't even that hot. I don't think it would be the clutch packs in the transmission. The only other thing I can kind of chalk it up to was maybe just the cats were getting hot enough and they were just making a smell. That's what I'm going to chalk it up to for now. However, I'm still going to check the trans fluid. I need to still fill the diff. And then the other thing that happened on the drive home was I lost power brakes again, and as you can see, that was full. Well, hopefully you guys can see, or tell at least. That was full the power steering reservoir, and it has dropped significantly, so I think I reintroduced air into the system. So I need to fill that up. I need to find a way to put a funnel on here and then fill that funnel up with fluid while I bleed off the air. That way it doesn't overflow when I'm turning the steering wheel and pumping the brakes and squirting it back out of the power steering pump and making a mess like I showed you guys last night. But it also kind of makes me think that I never got all the air out, because it has dropped significantly. Like last night I went to check it just to make sure, and I dipped my finger in about that much and I was able to hit fluid. So I can't imagine there being that much air in there, but there's nothing leaking. There's no leak on the car. Of course, this is all old, and you can kind of tell it's old. But there's nothing dripping off of the car, the engine. So I don't know. There's no way there's that much air in the system. I think I'm going to give it one more shot with turning the steering wheel, pumping the brake. I think that'll work. And then I am going to run it, and then I'm going to bleed or break all of the lines loose. At least these 3 lines loose. That's kind of the top of the system, the highest point of the system. So one would assume that's where the air is getting trapped. I'm going to break the lines while it's running to try to get some air out that way. But yeah, for now, I'm going to get this car up in the air on some jack stands, check that trans fluid, check that diff fluid, and then go from there. Okay, went ahead and looked at the trans fluid, got the plug out there, the dipsticks inside, and that all looked great. It probably may have been a little bit overfilled, But I still haven't been able to get the trans all the way to temperature. Like I mentioned earlier, it was at 185 when I checked. To check it properly, you need to be at 206 to 215 degrees Fahrenheit or 95 degrees Celsius if you're a communist. But when I went and checked on the diff, pulled the plug out, immediately smelt that smell I was smelling. That kind of electrical, fiery, similar smell. And well, it was probably the outer bearings to the axles welding themselves together because, well, I still can't even really hold my hand against the tire because it's, or the wheel, because it's so hot. The diff housing itself is hot too. And then when I went and checked to see if there was any fluid, I couldn't even get some on the tip of my finger when I stuck it in the hole. So the diff fluid was definitely low. It was probably the bearings that I was smelling that were overheating. Or it could have been also I think there's some clutches in there for the LSD. So it could have been those two, which maybe that's more realistic of what was, well, it was probably a combination of everything. So I filled it up. I actually had that, I threw it away, but it was a whole gallon, that gallon size jug of gear oil. When I initially filled the diff for the first time, I think I put like, a quart or two in there, and then there was a quart left in that jug that I just put in and it poured out. So it was about a quart low, which is quite a bit for a diff, considering a diff doesn't hold a whole lot of oil. It's not like an engine where it has, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 quarts of oil. It only holds 3, or I think it's about 3 quarts, honestly. So if you're down a quart, that's a third of your oil not there. So yeah, I filled it back up. Again, trans looked great. Maybe a little bit overfilled. Diff was definitely low. So I'm gonna mark off the trans for now. I think I'll be perfectly fine. Diff fluid, I'm gonna mark it off for now. I'll probably end up getting some more, driving it some more, letting it swash around in the axle tubes to get to each outer bearing, and then yeah, go from there. See if I need to fill it up anymore. Let's see. Door locks I still haven't figured out, which I don't really care about because I have a lock. If it doesn't ever work again, I'm not too concerned about it. I could try just getting one of those circuit breakers and seeing if that fixes it. Maybe that thing just fried itself. The turn signal switch, I think I'm just gonna get a new one. That's the only logical thing I can think of, is getting a new switch, because the left or the right one works, the left one doesn't. There's definitely power getting to the switch because the right turn signal is working. There's just not that continuity between the power source and the left turn signal in the switch. So I'll end up getting a new one of those. I'll probably do that tomorrow, or I could try to do that now. Well, I got off early today and it's 3 o'clock, so everybody else is getting off work right now. I'm not really trying to fight traffic. It'd be easier just to go first thing in the morning when everybody's still sleeping, and I'm usually up by then and whatever. It'll just be easier to get it tomorrow. That's the point I'm trying to make. And while I'm getting that, well, honestly, it's probably not even going to be here. I'll probably have to wait for it. So it may or may not make it in this video. Oh, I need to try to frickin' bleed this power steering fluid again. Well, yeah, I'm going to do that right now. And then I'll throw it at the beginning of this, or after the diff fluid. Well, yeah, I'll let you guys know in a minute. I got the power steering fluid, I think, all air free. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe I might have to do this a couple more times. I'm not 100% sure, But I just kept going until I got like maybe like 1 or 2 big bubbles. And by big, I mean like, you know, tiny bubbles, big comparatively towards the, you could kind of see in there the little tiny bubbles. I'm not worried about those. I'm more worried about the big ones that pop up. So I was getting like 1 or 2 of those in that last clip you just saw. So I'm not super worried about it. I'm going to go ahead and drive it again. And then I've got the rear diff filled up. Or maybe I'll just save the drive for tomorrow. I think I might do that. I keep doing a little bit of work every night, but I mean, that's kind of how it goes. A little bit of work and then drive it, a little bit of work, drive it, and I guess that's how it's going to be for a while. Well, not for a while, hopefully maybe a few more trips, and then maybe I'll take it on a long trip, and then go from there and see if there's really anything wrong with this. But yeah, so far so good, other than just minor things, fluids and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna go, I'll drive it tomorrow, get that last bit of stuff I need, caps for vacuum ports, turn signal. That's really it. I'll probably get another AC belt. I don't know if I'll put it on now just because I'm not using the AC, even though I probably should, because it's supposed to be a warm winter down here. I mean, it's still 80 degrees right now in my garage, and it's, what is today, November 21st, I think. So I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying it's still warm down here. So I might get that AC figured out. I'm gonna end the video here. I didn't end up getting the turn signal in this video. I'll have to do that in another video, or I'll probably just make a short on it. I just ran out of time this week. I'm already a day late on sending the video out, so I'm just gonna end it here. I got a lot done. I also took the car to its first little car show. I brought the camera, but I ended up not filming it. It was also taking my son to his first car show that I brought a car to, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I just wanted to enjoy being at the car show versus trying to film. I actually met another Foxbody dude on the way there. I was filling up at the gas station and he flew by on the highway. Ended up catching up with him, talking to him on the road, and he was saying he was going to the same place. Ended up talking. I'm actually going to go to another car show with him not this weekend, but the next weekend, and I'll probably film that. There's going to be a bunch of cars there, so look forward to that. But yeah, I'm going to end the video here. Got the car running, driving. I'm driving it as much as I possibly can. I still got air in the power steering, or the Hydroboost system, whatever you want to call it. And I think I just need to keep working that steering wheel and just doing that for another hour, and I think it'll work the air out that way. But I'm gonna chalk this up as a win and pretty much the completion of the Coyote swap. So not the end of the Foxbody, but the end of the Coyote swap. Definitely going to be doing some more videos, like some little restoration items and cosmetic stuff. So look forward to that. Maybe starting something on that, maybe starting something on that. Not touching that communist thing because well, yeah. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will catch you on the next one.